All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got 5 stories that I'm going to talk about today. They're all crazy as I don't know what. The first one we're going to talk about is Tucker Carlson or Carlson or whatever they call him these days. I'm going to show you all these clips. And this dude is out of control. I know why people support him. Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Fame legend, talks about Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl. We got James Comey, who should probably be in prison for the rest of his life. Hopefully, justice is served. And Mark Dice. Why would you come out against me, brother? You got my phone number. But Mark Dice decided he's just going to come out against me and call me a DEI hire. And Katie Porter, the dumbest gubernatorial candidate on planet Earth. We got to talk about it. Y'all hold the phone.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go home today.
Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome back to the Tatum Show. I can't believe Mark Dice came out against me. Y'all know Mark Dice. I can't believe he came out against me. I cannot believe it. He has my phone number. He texted me the other day. I would show all the text messages, but I'm not going to do it. But first, let's talk about Tucker, Mr. Carlson. And the only reason I say that, and I'm going to show proof of why I think Tucker Carlson is an appropriate name, and I do not understand why people can't see through the bull crap. How in the world do you have a perspective that's rooted in facts, evidence, and somehow you change? And it's funny that you change when you're not on Fox. And it's funny that you change when you have an influx of money coming in, $15 million raised from a person that's not even an American citizen. These people are on record taking money from foreign people, FARA registered money coming in, paying Tucker Carlson to go speak or interview the Qatari leader. But it's cool. But y'all keep saying Brandon Tatum makes $7,000 a month. Y'all ain't looking at his record. There ain't no evidence whatsoever I'm getting paid by nobody. I'm actually kind of mad. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. I ain't getting no money. And then I'm doing a couple events, Jewish event, free. They ain't even paying me to do events. God dang. Let's go to Tucker real quick. I want to play this clip from a gentleman. And you can verify if this guy is legitimate or not. This was sent to me by my researcher. And this is what he said about Tucker Carlson and just the nefarious appearance of money that he's getting from people that are not American. But yet he's America first. His show is supposed to be America first. No. Before we get to this clip, put it on the screen so I can see it, Nick. Before we get to this clip, I want to make this very clear. It is beyond bizarre to me that Mr. Tucker Carlson have the nerve to come out and claim to be America first, yet all that he's talking about is anti-American rhetoric. I'm going to show you. And he's advocating for Islam that's antithetical to America. But let's roll this clip because we're going to start here and it's going to get worse from here. Roll the clip.
Tucker Carlson's network, the seed money came from a guy named Omid Malik, who's a Pakistani Iranian. He's Pakistani Iranian descent, put up $15 million to start that network. We know that for a fact. It's public knowledge. There was a nonprofit here in the United States that receives its funding from Qatar that pays $180,000 a month, and they paid Tucker to interview the Emir, I believe it was, of Qatar, so on and so forth. So it's unquestionable. We know that there are trips. Tucker's been to Qatar recently. He said it openly. He said it, and we can go through some of those clips if you want. He said it openly at Turning Point.
Is Qatar extreme in their Islam?
So they play both sides very, very well. But here's what we know for certain. They openly, since October 7th, have given hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas. $350 million for sure, like right after it, they approved to go to Hamas. They have a radical agenda.
On record, they've given money to Hamas. And then people say, oh, no, they're impartial. They're doing negotiations. They're not a middleman. Now, America plays the game because that's what we do, baby. But in reality, we need to be looking at Qatar. We need to be looking at his connection with Qatar. How y'all so deep in investigatory knowledge about everything other than him? How does he get a pass? I'm genuinely curious. The reason he left Fox was another thing that was crazy to me. How are y'all not putting two and two together? He didn't leave Fox because Fox News was mad at him and they just didn't want him on the network anymore. He was the number one person on Fox News when he was on Fox. You know how he got kicked off Fox? Because he lied about Dominion and got sued. And Fox News got sued for billions of dollars. They settled for $1 billion. And then I bet you a part of the settlement was they got to kick this guy off because he's the one that instigated it all. Let's go to some more clips because I think that this is invaluable. These are the type of people that he is interviewing. And this is why I say in my tweet, and I'm going to get to your boy Mark Dice in a minute, but this is the people that he interviewed. I'm just going to give you a few people. What makes sense for a man that's America first and going to Turning Point events and speaking on behalf of Turning Point on the main stage, not a debate, and have a theology this crazy? And sometimes he do it like these other people that are gaslighting you. They don't say it, but they have a guest on their show that say the craziest stuff and they don't push back whatsoever. Roll the clip.
I'm going to butcher this because I'm not a scholar on it. But essentially, what Nick Land believes is that the Jewish people, that they kept the Kabbalah. It eventually becomes digital life, through ones and zeros.
But it's a Gnostic religion, which is to say it's hidden from non-initiates. Yeah,
I mean, there's a mainstream version of it, but it eventually kind of becomes what they believe. It's a precursor to digital life. So what Land and a lot of these people believe is that the actual salvation that the Jewish people provided was keeping Kabbalah, which eventually becomes digital life, which eventually becomes AI, which eventually becomes the creatures in the Book of Revelation, which essentially later go on to destroy humanity and fulfill the Book of Revelation. But that is a good thing.
Now, I don't know the validity of what he's saying, but that sounds very crazy. The people who are promoting the most conquest behavior and that have pushed almost every religion out of the countries that they exist in is Islam. Islam attacked America. You can't find a Jew that came into America and did a bombing or a shooting or it's all top secret cover up and they can't even control their own country. If it wasn't for America, Israel wouldn't exist. They would just get completely taken over. But all of a sudden, they got these mysterious wisdom that all of a sudden they doing AI to destroy the world to get to the Revelation prophecy, which they don't even believe in Revelations. How does this make any sense? Let's keep going. I got a bunch of clips. Here's another clip from Tucker in his interview. Roll it.
The state of Israel and its incredibly sophisticated propaganda campaign, which again, the rest of us have been marinating in for a long time. But the true villain here, I would argue, is not the state of Israel, the Jews. It's the United States. It's our leaders who are putting up with this. Israel is a small country with very limited resources, and it is doing its best to serve its own interests. You'd think every country would act that way, and most do. But there are some that don't, and ours would top that list. And so the true shame here, the actual villain in this story, is the leadership of the United States.
So what's the leadership, Tucker? Say Trump's. Say Trump name. Say Trump is a bad actor that's committing treason. When you are acting in the best interest of a foreign country, that's treasonous. What's the penalty for treason? We all know what the penalty for treason is. Just say that Donald Trump is treasonous and he is responsible for the demise of the United States of America. Just come out and put his name out there. But the problem is they gaslight us and they talk around in circles. But in reality, this is what their stance is. Roll it.
I never want to fight about Israel, ever. I'm actually pretty moderate on the subject, I think. Always like going there. I know a lot of Israelis. Always liked,
you never really talked about it before October 7th. You never really talked about it before October 7th, but it was shoved on the front burner.
Exactly. It's like, this is my country. I don't own the country, but I'm a shareholder in the country. I'm an American. And you can't use my country like some kind of disposable product. Like, you just can't. I mean, Bibi's running around. This is a fact. I'm not guessing about this because I talked to people he said it to. Is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States. I control Donald Trump. He's saying that. And again, I'm not guessing at all. That's a fact. And I dare them to say that's not true, because it is true and they know it's true. So I'm an American. How do you think it makes me feel? Even if I didn't vote for Trump, which I did vote, I campaigned for Trump, but even if it was Joe Biden, I'm an American. You can't it's too humiliating. I can't handle that. And I shouldn't have to put up with that. This is a country of 9 million people. I'm not even attacking the country. I'm attacking my leaders who are allowing my nation of 350 million people to be forced into doing things that are bad for me and my children because of some other country. Like, that is a violation of the most basic arrangement we have with our leaders, which is represent us, please, at least most of the time, and they're not. And there's an ongoing humiliation ritual designed to make us all crazy, designed to turn us into haters. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of becoming what they call me. I'm not a hater, and I'm never going to become one. But I will never accept this. I shouldn't have to accept it. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have no unexpressed views. I'm not hiding anything. I say exactly what I think all the time. This is wrong. And if it's not wrong, tell me how it's not wrong. Why don't you stop attacking me and trying to get family members fired, which they never stop doing? Why don't you instead tell me how you disagree with me? But they can't, because they don't actually have an argument. There's no way to justify controlling the U.S. government for the purposes of another country's, whatever their plan is, expansion. There's no way to justify that. And so they just scream at you and call you names. And I guess I'm just blessed because I don't believe that about myself. So that doesn't hurt me. You know, if they said, well, you've gained 10 pounds, you might hurt my feelings. But calling me a bigot doesn't hurt my feelings because I know that I'm not. How's that?
It's called narcissism. When you can't take accountability and responsibility for your own actions. Well, in what way are they running America other than conspiracies? What way are they controlling our government? Donald Trump is uncontrollable. He can't even control himself. So what makes you think Netanyahu is running around the Middle East? Netanyahu can't leave Israel. He's only safe coming to Israel. I mean, being in Israel and the United States of America. Maybe one other place. Other than that, he will get assassinated and killed. But he's running around the Middle East somewhere. What is he? He's literally running around the Middle East? You're saying he's flying around the Middle East? Name the people that he's talking to in the Middle East that's claiming that he runs Donald Trump. And you know, but Trump don't know. I said this in another video. You know, but Trump don't know. So you're saying Trump is so stupid that he got this guy in the Oval Office talking to him, negotiating peace, and the guy's running around saying that he run Donald Trump. And Donald Trump don't know what's going on. Give me a effing break. I think Tucker, and I don't listen to all this stuff, but the things that he say on these clips that he put on his own page, he's not explaining at all exactly how they're running America. AIPAC are American citizens who are lobbying the government for the interests of Israel and our connection with Israel. If you don't like what American citizens believe, then just say it. You claim that America has a problem. The Americans that are supporting AIPAC, which support both sides, they're lobbying for the interests of the state of Israel. That's what they're doing. And they're not getting marching orders from the government because then they would have to register as FARA. And Israel is registered under FARA. And the dealings that they do through FARA is registered and is documented. What are you saying? And why won't Tucker say anything about Qatar giving billions of dollars to universities? Yet he will say universities are indoctrinating our youth. Universities are destroying America. But Qatar is giving money to universities. Why don't you point that out? I don't understand. Like, if you're going to say all these things about Israel, why won't you talk about all these other countries that spend way more money through FARA to peddle their theology in the United States of America? Let's play another clip. Roll it.
So right now, as we speak tonight, there are 2 THAAD missile batteries in Israel. That's 1/4 of the world's total supply of THAAD missile batteries. The THAAD missile battery is an American-made, very high-tech missile battery that takes incoming missiles out of the sky. And 1/4 of the world's entire supply of these is in Israel right now, manned by U.S. troops, by Americans.
Hold on. This is what people like Tucker often do. They say something and make it a conspiracy. Where are you implicating that it's a problem that we are utilizing our ally and putting missile defense in a country that we have a vested interest in defending? Why is that nefarious? Just because you say it's nefarious? Just because you want it to be nefarious? Just because you say it in a sarcastic way or a way in which you bring pause or questions to it? He's not explaining anything that would make sense militarily why we can't have the THAAD system in Israel. Just because it's a quarter of the world, well, we have all of it. It's not that we share it with the world. We have a quarter and our biggest ally and our most prominent ally. How is that a problem? Roll the clip.
Form or not, they are American military personnel, and they are manning these batteries to protect Israel. And that shouldn't surprise you, because since October 7th, 2023, which is a little less than 2 years ago, the United States has spent at minimum $30 billion defending Israel.
Hold on.
Huge.
America spent $30 billion defending Israel. America allows Israel to purchase product from us almost on like a retainer basis or almost on like a credit line. That means that all of the money that we give to Israel is based on defense. So therefore, they can buy only American products, only American technology. But when you listen to Tucker, because he hates Jews and hates Israel, that it has to be nefarious. They are literally one of our biggest allied assets in the Middle East. What are we even saying? Why don't he talk about our military base in Qatar? How much money does that cost the taxpayer to have our military base in Qatar? Explain that to me. And they're harboring terrorists in Qatar. That's where the Hamas leaders are at. They're in Qatar. They're not in Hamas. I mean, they're not in Gaza. They're not with the people. They're worth billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they're hiding out in Qatar. You don't have, if you have a problem with Israel, you don't have a problem with that, Tucker? Roll it.
And for some perspective, the entire Israeli military budget before October 7th was about $25 billion. So the United States has put at least $30 billion into defending Israel in less than 2 years. Over the course of its existence, a little less than 80 years, the United States has put $300 billion, at least, those are just the on-books numbers, into supporting Israel. $300 billion. Israel is by far, no one comes close, the largest recipient of U.S. aid over time. And
so hold on. Let's talk about this for a minute. So what should we do? Give them no aid? I would like to hear people articulate this. Let's give them no aid. Let's not support Israel. And let's allow radical jihadist terrorists to take over Israel and all of the military equipment there from the United States of America, all of defense technology from the United States of America, all of the assets and intel from the United States of America, and let them get a hold of it and let them take over that. And what do you think they're going to do with the Jewish people that are there? They're going to kill all of them, just like they do the Christians when they do their conquest. Because we know that Christians dominated in Bethlehem. It was 80% of Christians lived in Bethlehem. And then when the Muslims take over, when the Gaza Palestinians take over, now it's 17%. Why more Christians live in Israel than live in the West Bank? Why? Because when they start taking over, Christians do not have rights. Christians do not have freedoms that they have in Israel in the West. But Tucker don't care about Christians like that. He's just using lip service. Let the terrorists take over Israel and see what happens. Now they control the entire Middle East. And before you know it, they're going to try to conquest their way over to attacking the United States of America. They already made it over to Europe. We be and complain about it all the time, of all these Muslims in Europe taking over, raping people, doing all that stuff. And then they're in America. There's a big threat in America. Dearborn, Michigan, we got everywhere. I just interviewed Sarah Adams. Video almost got 1 million views in that interview. She's talking about how they're infiltrating in the United States of America through the southern border. They have sleeper cells that are in America ready to attack, flying planes in the buildings. This is what they do. This is a part of their charter, is for all of the world to be under Islamic rule. They have done a pretty good job in the Middle East. Many of these places were prominent Christian places, and now they're completely Islam, with no mercy and no support for Christians. I think they don't want America to completely blow them to smithereens, so they tolerate Christians at a very small level. You cannot evangelize in Gaza at all. You would go to jail. They probably would kill you. You definitely can't evangelize in the West Bank, but you can in Israel. So, Tucker, I'm a Christian and I care about Christian values. What do you got to say about that? I have never seen, not one time hear Tucker say anything about the Christians getting slaughtered in Syria. The Christians getting slaughtered by Muslims all over the world. about hundreds of thousands. I never hear Tucker Carlson say anything about, at least I haven't heard him say anything about the money we give to Jordan and Egypt. Well, why not? Roll the clip.
So anyone who says, oh, it's just a drop in the bucket, it's totally insignificant, is lying or doesn't know the numbers. By the way, number 2 is Egypt. So why are we spending so much money on Egypt? Well, we're doing it at the request of Israel. So you could probably add that to the tally. It's not an attack. It's merely perspective. We are spending our time, our money, and we're taking enormous risks on behalf of a country that geopolitically is not significant at all. The interesting thing is, most Americans have no idea that this is true. They don't know how disproportionate our attention to Israel and our spending on Israel is relative to the rest of the world. And if you want some sense of how disproportionate, India and China combined, neither of which is a strong ally at the moment, combined represent more than a third of the entire world's population. Both are rivals economically, both are rivals militarily, at least potentially. And our relationship with them has gotten worse, or has at the very least languished, because of our relationship with Israel, because of the bandwidth consumed by tending to it, and also because of some of the inevitable conflicts that have arisen because of our support for Israel, which is engaged in an extremely controversial, which is to say hated war in Gaza, which is not even really a war.
Let me finish. It's not a war.
It's a massive displacement of people and
massive displacement of
killing on a grand scale of unarmed people, of unarmed combatants, of civilians, of women and children.
Can y'all see how crazy what he's saying is? I know some of y'all probably support him, but everything is Israel's fault. Our fallout with dictators and our support for a democracy that share our values is somehow a conflict for Tucker Carlson. Make it make sense. The reason why we support Israel is for 2 reasons. One, strategic positioning. The other one is because we're a Christian nation. And we're going to support the Christians in Israel, and we're going to support our shared religious establishment. And we're going to make sure biblically Israel has a right to exist. And we're going to make sure that they continue to exist in peace. I do not understand the point of comparing them to China. They're not allies at the moment. Of course they're not allies. They're antithetical to America. The population number. Yeah, they got a lot of people there, but that don't mean they take care of their people. Slave labor. They got all kind of stuff that we don't believe in the West. That's why we're not allies to them. That's why we have beef with them. That's why we have problems with them. They steal our IP like it's going out of style. They're stealing our work, giving cheap labor, doing all fraudulent and manipulative stuff. TikTok, they're spying on people through TikTok. Our government had to not allow government officials to have TikTok on their phone. I mean, this guy is just a plethora. And then he used to not talk like this. Roll the clip. Here's another one. I think
U.S. aid, military aid to Israel, and the implied security guarantees, some explicit, but many implied security guarantees of the United States to Israel, probably haven't helped Israel that much long term. You know, it's a rich country with a highly capable population. Like every other country, it's probably best if it makes its decisions based on what it can do by itself.
Israel cannot exist without being propped up by the United States. Its nuclear program came from the United States. Its weapons come from the United States. Its economy is supported by the United States.
That country couldn't exist without, not for a week, without U.S. backing.
Play that clip again, Nick. Hold on. Let's look at the dates. February of 2024, he was talking like this. And then May of 2025, October of 2025, he's now saying a total different thing. Are they capable or not? Are they sufficient without the United States support or not? You're saying in this first clip, he's saying that they're sufficient without America's support and they can actually do it without us. Roll the clip, play it for the people in the back smoking crack. Roll it.
I think U.S. aid, military aid to Israel, and the implied security guarantees, some explicit, but many implied security guarantees of the United States to Israel, probably haven't helped Israel that much long term. You know, it's a rich country with a highly capable population. Like every other country, it's probably best if it makes its decisions based on what it can do by itself.
Israel cannot exist without being propped up by the United States.
All right.
Its nuclear program came from the United States.
Why is he switching that? Why is he saying they're capable and that the security guarantees that we give them aren't really helping them at all? It's not significant whatsoever. They can actually do it on their own. But then saying they can't exist without the United States of America a year later. When you have an articulable reason why you support a certain thing and then you diametrically change, why do you change? There is nothing that I believe with statistical data points that I prove that somehow I will change on, because the points that I prove them on are always constant and they're truth and they're factual. Unless I lied about what I'm saying before and then now I'm telling the truth, or I was telling the truth then and I'm lying now. In 1 year, you flip-flop drastically on what your perspective is of Israel. It makes no sense. Do we have some more clips? We got one more clip and then I'm gonna get off this subject.
And so
hold on. And this is another aspect. It's kind of deviating from the succession of videos, but this is a lie that he told that Nick Fuentes called him out for. And this is a flat out lie. He claims he did not know that his father, I think this is that clip, he did not know that his father was CIA. He found out that his father was CIA through Nick Fuentes. But then he goes on another podcast saying he applied for the CIA. And that he had foreknowledge that his father was a part of the CIA. Why would he lie about this? Roll the clip.
The CIA, and I've taken a lot of crap, including from Putin, like, oh, you're from a CIA family. Well, yeah, obviously my father worked in conjunction with CIA. I mean, that's what that is. And I tried to join the CIA, but I'm not being false about it. Native talent. And he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
If y'all see me cutting up like this, call me out for it. Some of y'all try to call me out for stuff I never said, and you have no evidence of it. He literally said he tried to apply for the CIA. Of course, his dad was associated with the CIA and working with the CIA, of course. And then he gets with Candace Owens on a podcast and say, after my dad died, I then found out that he was a part of the CIA. Why would he lie about this? Why would he be deceptive about this? You either knew your dad is in the CIA or not. Then let me tell you this. All the conspiracies that Tucker Carlson endeavors in, why nobody questioning his involvement with the CIA? He wanted to apply to CIA. His dad was CIA. Now, if this was somebody in Mossad, like Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a part of Mossad, now the conspiracies come out the woodwork. See, her dad was Mossad. That's why she did this with Epstein and this and that. But he said his dad was CIA. And nobody's questioning the fact that he's completely changed the script on many things that he believed. He's getting money from people who are not American born. At least they don't have American heritage. I don't know if that guy that gave him $15 million is actually an American. It's crazy to me. And we have to get to, because I want to talk about Comey, because Comey need to go to prison. But before we get to Comey, I want to play this quick clip of Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson. They caught him at LAX. I'm pretty sure it's LAX. Everybody get caught at LAX like this. And they came up to him to talk to him about Bad Bunny. And I ain't never heard of Bad Bunny a day in my life. I guess he's an artist. I don't know if he sing or he rap. I don't know. And you gotta be, I almost said the G word or the F word. I don't know which one I want to use. You gotta be a weirdo if your name Bad Bunny and you a man. What man named Bad Bunny? That sound like some fruitcake stuff. And Bad Bunny. And then I guess I saw a video of this fool speaking Spanish. If you don't like it, then you speak Spanish. You speak Spanish then. Hey, y'all got him at the Super Bowl. Here's what a Hall of Famer said about it. Come on, roll the clip.
I'm not surprised the NFL will do something like this. That's how they have that political crap. They like they good guys and they not. But Bad Bunny, where's Bad Bunny from?
He's from Puerto Rico.
To Puerto Rico. If you don't like the U.S., keep his ass over there.
Apparently, Puerto Rico is part of the U.S.
I know, but still, if you don't want, he don't like the U.S. I mean, don't come in and perform.
A lot of parents are kind of up in arms because some of his content's kind of adult.
Yeah.
He talks about partying, women, this and that. What do you make of that? Is that okay?
Well, I mean, what songs don't? What about the rappers? I mean, hey. Like I said, I heard some stuff he said about the United States, so, I'm from the U.S. I love my country. And if you don't like the United States, get your ass out here. Don't come over here.
Do you think the NFL kind of puts this in place so people have conversations to make controversy? It seems like sometimes they might do that, right?
The NFL is crooked than the federal government, way crookeder than the federal government ever be. So I mean, I know the NFL is. They don't care about their players.
So corruption from the top.
Don't give me on
no, I know.
Yeah.
We know that the elites all over are pretty corrupt, right? Money makes people corrupt. Right. Would you say?
NFL is ultra corrupt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. Bad Bunny says something about the U.S. Don't come here and perform.
Yeah.
Don't come here. Stay in the country. I mean, I know the U.S. Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., but it's not the U.S. That's what I look at it. That's what I mean. I just feel like that. They get these performers and they say all this controversial stuff about the United States, like they hate the U.S. and all that kind of stuff. And if you hate the U.S., don't come here.
I don't know what else needs to be said. Eric Dickerson got a pretty significant say in the NFL, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest running backs to ever play in the NFL. At the time, he was one of the biggest and fastest running backs to ever play in the NFL. Only Bo Jackson probably was faster than he was. But I agree with him 1,000%. Why is the NFL doing this? There's a part of me that think they're just doing a political stunt. It's almost like the person doing the halftime show is unaware about what's going on in the world in the NFL. And I'm going to add this because I don't want to be superfluous and act like I just really care about this. I don't watch the halftime show anyway. When I watch the NFL, I watch it to watch football. Okay? The person who's shaking his booty at the halftime show like a weenie and probably going to do some songs in Spanish, I'm not listening to them anyway. They have nothing to do with the game of football. This is for advertisers and bring out other people who like Lil Bunny or whatever his name is to watch the halftime show. But I want y'all to hold on one second because I'm going to get to Mark Dice. Trust me. Y'all just hold on. I'm going to get there because that's going to be good. Mark, I ain't going to let Mark Dice get away with this. Only because he was I thought he was my friend. Then he come out and you ask me, I think he racist. How you going to come out and say I'm a DEI? What is your proof text of me being a DEI hire? Other than the reality is you don't really like black people anyway. And you're waiting for me to say something you don't like because you're going to throw me under the bus and say, look, we should never support these black people. Just say you don't like black people, bruh. Just say you don't like black people. All right, let's get to Director Comey real quick. I want to make this a quick hit. Dummy Comey pled not guilty to 2 federal felony charges. He had a brief hearing, released without bail, which I think they should put his butt under bail because he's probably a flight risk, if you ask me. These people are arrogant, evil, and they just spit in your face. This is not a political stunt. Director Comey was wrong way back when Hillary Rodham Clinton was in office. She broke the law. She sent and received classified information. He admitted through an investigation, which they botched. They never put her under oath. They never subpoenaed her to court in any legitimate way where they can get her saying something, and then when she contradicted, they can get her on falsifying information or lying to Congress. They made sure they never did that to her. She did all that crooked stuff, serve her in a house. What she did in Benghazi was crooked. How are you talking on the government email? You're communicating for your own personal reasons while American citizens are getting captured and murdered in Benghazi. We can go down a list all the other failures she had, but let's play the clip of Comey, who is of the devil. Let's play that clip.
Director James Comey in front of a judge moments ago in a hearing that we did not think would last long, and apparently that is the case. He has entered a plea of not guilty to 2 charges, federal level now. Our producers inside the courtroom say the former director accused of lying to Congress, obstructing a congressional proceeding, entered the plea moments ago in front of the judge, Michael Nachmanoff, appointed by Joe Biden. Not guilty on both federal charges. He's accused of lying in front of Congress back in 2020. So that is the update inside the courtroom. And while that's happening in one part of Northern Virginia, this is happening across.
That's the end of the clip? Yeah. Well, god dang. But anyway, I think y'all get the gist of Director Comey. Let's get to Mark Dice. I want to talk about this real quick. I have never said anything negative about Mark Dice online, ever. And you know why? Because I thought Mark Dice was my friend. And if I had a problem with something he said, which I do have a problem with a few things he said, but if I had a problem with something that Mark Dice said, I would have just texted him. I have his number. He actually texted me before he made this video. And yeah, I didn't get a chance to get around to texting him back because I'm busy. I'm working. I'm a businessman. I got 20 plus employees here. I got multiple companies I'm running. I don't have time to text people back all the time. And he was asking me about Candace Owens and, hey, trying to get dirt on Candace Owens pretty much. And I was going to respond. So I'm glad I didn't respond to him because he ain't my friend. So who knows? He would have tried to say something to set me up to say something about Candace so he can go share. It's just all that weird stuff, bro. And he texted me that. I didn't text him back. He made this video. I wrote a comment like, dude, I'm disappointed. Like, what's the deal? You got my number. He texted me and say, only reason I was a part of the Conservative Inc. is because I'm black. Is that how you really feel, bro? You think it's because I'm black? You say I'm a part of Conservative Inc. What is Conservative Inc.? I've been running my own stuff since, 2018? I'm my own man. I don't take no money from nobody. I don't take donations. I'm not a nonprofit. I don't take investors. I built this with my own money, sweat, and effort this whole time. I'm independent just as much as he say he's independent. I wrote my own book. I created an e-commerce store that services, I don't know how many people. We got 20, 30,000 five-star reviews. We got, 100, 200,000 customers. That's something I built on my own. Up all night building an e-commerce store, learning on YouTube how to do e-commerce. Built my own print shop right here. Didn't know nothing about a print shop. I looked it up online. I figured out which products to get. Obviously, I did some due diligence here. Ordered all the stuff. Hired a guy from Chicago. Didn't know him from Adam, to be honest. I took a risk. He came down here, built the shop up, and now look at what we're doing. Independent, self-made. But let me play what he said about me because and it's funny, Nick, because I spoke about this in my video last night. This is why I don't come out and bash my true friends, because I say something you don't like and y'all turn on me. Just imagine if I was talking to him and kikiing with him about all this stuff, and then he turned on me like this. This is why I don't fool with y'all. Roll the clip, and I got to debunk the stupidity that he said. Roll it.
Brandon Tatum, a very popular black conservative YouTuber who I gave a shout out to back in 2016 when he was just getting started, because I thought it would be good to have more black Trump supporters visible on social media. But as we all know, if you back a DEI hire, it never turns out well. And now Turncoat Tatum is trying to undermine Charlie Kirk's last wishes for Turning Point USA by driving sever ties.
Hold on. Charlie Kirk's last wishes. Where is it documented that what he's about to say is Turning Point's Charlie Kirk's last wishes? Where in his will is his last wish got anything to do with Tucker Carlson? His last wishes? His last wishes. Okay, roll it.
Eyes with Tucker Carlson posting this just the other day. I will always support Turning Point USA. Tucker Carlson is antithetical to what TPUSA stands for, which is interesting because Charlie Kirk stood by Tucker and lost millions of dollars a year in donations from wealthy Jews.
Why did he lose money in donations? Because Tucker is antithetical to TPUSA's mission. And just because you stand by your friend don't mean you agree with your friend. And just because you stand by your friend and you put him on stage and cause Turning Point USA to lose money when you have never propped anybody up or put anybody on stage like Tucker, it's, at the end of the day, it's because he's not a right fit. And just because you support him don't make it right. He had Tucker on stage. That don't make it right. What he was doing was pouting and being against his donors and saying, I'm going to double down. Charlie Kirk never in his career publicly lamented to or mentioned anything that Tucker did as far as Israel and none of the other stuff that Tucker is now doing. The things that Charlie Kirk spoke at SAS, Charlie Kirk didn't say none of the stuff that Tucker is saying. So what make you think he agreed with Tucker? But he was saying, I'm going to double down because they told me that I can't bring him on, so I'm going to bring him on anyway. That don't mean that was his last wishes or he actually supported everything that Tucker is saying. Roll the clip.
Jewish donors because he wouldn't cancel Tucker from their primary major event coming up in December, America Fest. I do not support him at any TPUSA event. He should not be there, period. Again, that's not what Charlie thought, but you know what? Brandon Tatum knows what's best. He went on to dangle a $1 million donation in front of Turning Point while suggesting that they
I'm dangling $1 million in front of Turning Point. Listen to what this fool reads. Does this sound like I'm dangling money? Like, it doesn't sound like it's optional. Does this sound like I'm going to get or I'm not going to give it? I'm dangling money in front of. Now, I'm not going to get upset about it, even though it roused me up a little bit, because I worked for Turning Point ever since 2000. I've been working with or for Turning Point ever since 2017. I was doing speaking engagements pretty much for free. I was doing fundraiser events on behalf of Charlie because I love Charlie and I supported him, and they weren't paying me specifically to do fundraising. And in one event I remember that Charlie couldn't go to, I raised the most money that they had ever raised at that event in TPUSA history. I ain't need no extra money. They weren't paying me. I wasn't getting no real money from Turning Point USA. Went to 20-something universities. You know how much that'll cost if I spoke at 20-something universities? They weren't paying me pretty much nothing for that. Now, let him read it and just how silly this is. Roll the clip.
Sever ties with Tucker, saying that a friend asked me whether he should donate $500,000 to Turning Point USA. I said yes. We are raising $1 million to give to Erica, which she might use for TPUSA. TPUSA serves a bigger purpose than speakers on stage, but supporting Tucker is wrong for TPUSA. TPUSA has never supported a person like him spewing anti-Semitism. Again, undermining one of the last things that Charlie Kirk stood for before his assassination.
Hold on. People be really thinking that, can he not read? I know I can't read that good. He definitely ain't read. I can't read that good. He can't interpret what he's reading. It's very clear. I said, a friend asked me about donating $500,000 to Turning Point USA. I said yes. In spite of the fact that I don't like Tucker, in spite of the fact that I don't think Tucker should even be on stage. But I said yes. I didn't say, no, don't do that, man, because they got Tucker up there. That's not what I said. We're raising money, all of us. That means people on this channel that support the merch. We're trying to get the number up to $1 million so I can write Erica Kirk a check, and she can do whatever she wants. I don't know if she's going to give it a Turning Point, but I would imagine she's probably not going to take the money in her pocket and have to pay taxes on it. So giving it to Turning Point, a mission that she believed in, her family believes in, Charlie believed in, it's non-negotiable. And I go through and say, TPUSA serves a purpose bigger than the speaker on stage. That means that even though I disagree with Tucker, it's a small part of the vision of Turning Point USA. And somebody name a single person that Charlie Kirk has had on stage, that Turning Point has hosted on stage, independent of a debate or an interview, that Charlie directly interviews this person, that was anti-Semitic or saying crazy conspiracies about Israel. Turning Point USA, from the foundation of Turning Point, has been a pro-American, pro-Zionist organization. There has never been a day where Charlie has come out and said that they weren't. Charlie has debated on campus. Charlie has given speeches. Charlie has said 1,000 times at Turning Point USA. Charlie has had speakers that are staunch Zionists. Charlie Kirk still do business with Daily Wire. One of his last interviews before he died was with Ben Shapiro. What are we saying? His pastor, Zionist. Rabbis that he's close with, Zionist. Frank Turek, Zionist. You want to go down the list? Everybody on the staff. I don't know a single person on Turning Point staff that don't support Israel. I don't know of any. Zionists, Zionists, Zionists. All of their donors either are America First, pro-First Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, all of the things that we all believe, or Zionist. I don't know a single donor that don't support Israel. I don't know a single church that's associated with TPUSA faith and the pastors that associate that aren't Zionists. What are we saying here? His last wish is that an anti-Semite to be on stage. That's his last wish. I would argue that he was just saying, I'm not going to turn on a friend because you guys want to dangle money in my face. His last wish was this. Mark, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I want people to ask themselves this question. Why is Candace not on the stage? Why is Candace not a part of Turning Point USA in a more prominent way? Why is Candace not doing stuff for Blexit now that Turning Point has taken over? Why? Why wouldn't Charlie let Candace speak if he let Tucker speak? Why did Charlie tell Candace she couldn't speak? Because of what? And I would argue, because I know Candace going hard for Charlie, but he didn't invite her to the memorial. She didn't speak at the memorial. And you would think that she would have spoke at the memorial. Why wouldn't she speak, but Tucker spoke? What are you trying to say? Are you saying she's anti-Semitic? Tucker isn't? Are you saying they're both are anti-Semitic? Who did the donors not want to be on stage? Was it Candace and Tucker? Let's give me a break. Give me a break. If it was really about friendship, then he chose one friend over the other, if you ask me. But the reason why Candace wasn't on stage in many of these major events is because donors didn't want her on stage, obviously. And they felt the same thing about Tucker. But yet Charlie didn't like that they were turning on him, and he got emotional about it. And so he said, I'm going to have Tucker on there anyway. Not because I agree with everything he said, but because you're not going to tell me what to do with my organization. Now, do I think that was the most wise thing to do? No, I really don't. It was an emotional thing that Charlie did, and I don't blame him because he's a 31-year-old man. He's very passionate about the things he believes. He's a very loyal friend to people who are his friends. That was his stance, and that was the stance that he took. Do I think it was the right stance? I don't think it was the right stance, but I respect his stance. And that's why I continued to work with Turning Point, even though I didn't like Tucker. I go on stage, say what I got to say. He go on stage, say what he got to say. What are we even arguing about here? And the problem is that people don't want to be honest. This is why Turning Point is in the turmoil that they are today, because nobody's willing to be honest about stuff. And everybody's trying to play the fence. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to say this. Turning Point, if they don't get it together, will cease to exist. I'm telling you right now. And I am ticked that the stuff that's going out about Turning Point USA is not combated in a more aggressive way. I know so many people that is questioning whether they should support Turning Point USA because of what's going on in the ethers, in the ethosphere. Many people are questioning. All had to be done is that, Tucker, you can't do the major events because the people who support this organization don't want you here. And I tell the story this. We had theological differences, which I think is nonsensical. An opinion and an opinion. And I talked to them on the phone and I said, I won't mention theology on the stage. I don't have nothing to do. I don't even talk about it really. And they disagree with my theology. So I was not invited to any of the Turning Point Faith events, which I'm one of the biggest Christians in the movement right now that stand up for Jesus Christ on every platform that I've ever been on. But I didn't cry and say, I said, you know what? I understand, man. God gave me a platform that's bigger than any platform you can give me anyway. So I can do my own Christian stuff on my own platform. I'm not tripping, bro. I'll still do the thing because I care about the kids. I care about the young people. I'm on campus with these young people. I see the sacrifice they make. I'm on campus. I will support them forever. And Charlie Kirk, I didn't like the fact that they did that. I was upset with Charlie Kirk over that, but I never talked to him about it, so it wasn't a big deal. If I really was mad enough, I would have called him. But I was like, it's all right, man. If they don't want me to speak because of something else, when they got Tucker up here talking bad about Jews, I said it is what it is. That's not my place. I don't run the organization. If I don't like it, I don't have to work with them. But I do love Charlie, and I do love what Turning Point stands for. So I say I'm going to work within the capacity that God has called me to do, and whatever I can do to support and serve, that's what I'm going to do. But if and you know why they didn't want me in Turning Point Faith? Probably because a donor said we don't want Brandon at Turning Point Faith because of his beliefs. Well, one belief that's really, in my personal opinion, the belief is semantics. But a donor probably told them, we don't want Brandon there. A donor probably told them, we don't want Candace there. And what did they do? They didn't allow me to be there. And Candace wasn't allowed to be there. But at the end of the day, because I'm a grown man with kids and responsibilities, I'm like, I can deal with that. That's fine. Because I think it's important that the young people hear conservative voices. I think it's important that I go to campus and I give them life and hope, because not many people are willing to do it. The only people really turned campuses the last 2 years was me and Charlie. Charlie had his big major events and I had smaller events. I would go to an event, it'd be 10 people there. And I still showed up. And I'm a big deal. You know what that kind of hit my pride a little bit. But I made a promise to God a long time ago. I said, God, I don't care if it's 3 people. I don't care. Actually, in my dream, it was 2 people. I said, I'm going to still preach the gospel. I'm going to still show up. I got on them flights, leaving my family, flying all across the country because I care. It's bigger than just a speaker on a stage. To be honest, I'm finna give the tea. To be honest, the most important part of Turning Point isn't these major speaking engagements. That's show. That's not the substance of Turning Point USA. That's irrelevant to me. A bunch of kids come together and everybody get on stage and say the same thing in a circle. That's not what Turning Point is mostly about. That's the flashy things that's in your face. Rah rah! Look at this. It's like a Super Bowl of the month. Everybody comes. Everybody get to see all these famous people. That's not the crux of why I support Turning Point and what Turning Point is all about. Turning Point is all about the young people who are on that campus taking arrows to save a nation and getting paid nothing. They're volunteering on their campus. That's what Turning Point is about. That's why I say I'll support them no matter how many idiots they put on stage. There's a few of them that I don't agree with on stage, and Tucker ain't the only one. There's a couple of them that shouldn't even be speaking, to be honest, that are fake, fraudulent. I see these people. I see them backstage. I see how they move. These people are fake. But at the end of the day, that ain't my place. Because we all should be working together to try to get these kids. It's about the kids. It's not about me. It wasn't really about Charlie. It was about God's mission through us, helping the next generation be uplifted so we can change America for the better. God, I get frustrated with this. I've said enough. I want to go to something real quick before I go to Fat Porter. Katie Porter, you can't be fat, stupid, and mean. Can I say that? You can't be fat, stupid, and mean. If you fat, you at least got to be nice or smart. Katie Porter is all of the combination of stupidity that you can actually have in a person. But before I get to her, bring up Matt Gaetz real quick. And I'm not going to bring up Matt Gaetz' past and his allegations against him and all of the above and the reason why he couldn't even be in Trump's cabinet. I'm going to leave that aside. Let me I don't know what's wrong with these people. Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said about like AIPAC. Roll the clip.
I remember my first AIPAC reception, and like your fundraiser tells you have to go, and your chief of staff tells you have to go, your committee chairman all tell you have to go, and you get there and you wear this name badge.
Hold on, but you don't have to go. They're telling you have to go. You act like they making you do it. Marjorie Taylor Greene don't go. What are we saying here, Matt? You took money from AIPAC, did you? Did you take money from AIPAC? You don't have to take money from AIPAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't take money from AIPAC. So you take money from AIPAC, I'm assuming, because you're now participating in AIPAC stuff, and now you're complaining about it. If you thought they were so bad and it was so weird and they were doing such nefarious things, why you take money from them, though? Roll the clip.
And I remember there's a QR code on it. And what we were supposed to do was go talk to donors. And then if they liked you, they scanned your QR code to make a donation, like on the spot. And so can you just imagine how demoralizing that is to like be told that your job for the next several hours to go chat people up, hoping they would scan you like a can of tomato soup on the way
out. You know how silly you got to be. That's why I don't like him no more. And I used to like him. Like, how silly are these people? You know how demoralizing it is for people to give you money? Like, what are you talking about? They make it easy and simpler. It's easier to donate to you if they're impressed by you. That's what everybody that's fundraising does. It's just, I don't know why people feel like they got to make a thing out of this. I have been a part of so many fundraising dinners. I've been a part of so many fundraising speeches on behalf of Turning Point. What are you doing when you're fundraising? You're talking to them. You're giving them a presentation. You're pulling on those heartstrings that they'll write that check right here on the spot. But if they had a QR code with the advancement of technology and they could just QR code and scan it and donate right on the spot, why does this have to be a conspiracy or something? You took money from AIPAC, a lobbying organization. And all they telling you is that go out and present your case and people with all this money will flood you. You didn't say, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking money from nobody. I'm not. How many scans did you get? Matt Gaetz, how many scans did you get? Matt Gaetz a good talker. How many scans did you get? He was going there getting scanned up. And then all of a sudden, it's so weird that our whole job, the whole day, as we're at a fundraiser, is to go and talk to people to raise money. You know how demoralizing that is? That's why you're there. That's why they're there. You know what I'm saying? Like, a QR code is supposed to be bad. It's modern technology. You want to write you a check? Quit being stupid. You scan a QR code. I mean, if I'm going to donate, give me a QR code so I can do it easier. I can do QR code, do it right on my phone. Man, at my church, when people want to give, they got QR code on the screen. You can just scan the QR code and give. But because it's Israel and the Jews, but you don't mind taking their money, but because it's Israel and the Jews, and they help you actually get elected. Then he goes on, let him finish. He goes on to talk about how many times he's been to Israel all these times. Roll the clip.
Out of the meeting.
I mean, it's literally purchasing.
Right. And so I saw that and I was like, wow, that is so freaking weird.
No, where's the other clip at? It's a longer clip. Maybe we could do it in post-production where he goes on to say, I've been to Israel multiple times. And then he talks about a story of a person in his room. Now, he can't say it was Mossad. He won't say it's Mossad. He won't say he know who was actually in his room doing God knows what. Who did he report this to? He's now bringing it up. I don't know if he's bringing it up. I never listen to him a lot, but when I hear him, I don't hear him telling me who was the person in his room. He assumed it was Mossad or somebody bugging his room. Why they bugging you and nobody else? Does it have something to do with them girls? I don't know. And I stood up for Matt Gaetz, to be honest. I was the one out there advocating and being like, man, y'all all jumping on him because of these underage girls and all this other stuff. But then, like, bruh, with all your underage girl stuff that was going around, were you still taking money from AIPAC? They still was supporting you. You know, people, this is what I learned. This is what I've learned. You cannot look at the world with lenses over your eyes because you're going to see things that are not there. AIPAC is a lobbying organization. Lobbying. So what do you think they're doing? Lobbying. What else are they supposed to do? Y'all expect them to go down there and be like, I mean, who do they give their money to? This is how AIPAC works, in my opinion. And it's not nefarious to me in this perspective. Is that AIPAC sees a candidate that's a Zionist and they go, I want to support that person. Matt Gaetz and the rest of the mindless people that got the lenses on, they go, this person don't like Israel. But AIPAC go and support that person, and now they like Israel. What sense did that make? Everybody that I know that takes AIPAC money, which is not even a lot, they are Zionists. And so AIPAC says, I like that guy. He's the support of Israel. Let me support this candidate. Do you really think AIPAC is going to have a person that say, I hate Israel? I think Israel is conducting an apartheid and they're committing a genocide and they should never exist. But I'm going to give that person money. Oh, now that I got a check, now I really love Israel and Israel is great. Go and look at the money that AIPAC is giving these people like Byron Donald. Somebody said Byron Donald bought and paid for by AIPAC. I went and looked at his numbers. Byron Donald got paid like $30,000 from AIPAC. He raised like $13 million. And the same top donor for Byron is the same top donor for Marjorie Taylor Greene. The number one donor that donated to Byron Donalds, the highest one, is the highest one for Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't find that suspicious? But AIPAC gave him $30,000 and somehow he a shield for AIPAC. If I was to run for office, I know AIPAC would support me. Why? Because I'm a Zionist. They wouldn't support anybody else. If somehow Tucker Carlson ran for office, you think AIPAC gonna support him? They gonna give him enough money, he gonna change his mind. Okay. But when you have those lenses on, everything is racist. Everything is Israel's fault. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a MAGA Republican. When I see the American flag, I see Nazis. Like, you can't live your life being stupid. Now let's get to Miss Piggy over here. Katie Piggy, aka Porter. And the only reason I'm saying this is because she's a total dirtbag. And she's running for governor of California. First of all, and y'all can get mad at me if you're a woman. It's okay. Y'all can get mad at me if you're a woman. Men are supposed to lead. Men are supposed to run the country. Men are supposed to be in their rightful position that God has called them to. Can women lead? Yeah, because men are feckless. When you see a woman as a governor, it's because a man is feckless. And I'm not saying she's not good, but a man failed. The men don't pull themselves up, grow a pair, and lead like God has called us to lead. So then women have to lead. That's not the way stuff's supposed to go. Just like in your household. How you going to be married and your wife leading you? That's not the way God said it. And if you don't like it, then get off my channel. But I'm just telling what the Bible say. Men are supposed to lead. Period. Go, all right. God could have chosen anybody. Or could have came down as a woman. But he came down as Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a man. God can do anything. He can do whatever he want to do. But he chose Jesus Christ. And all of the apostles were men. When he said, he didn't give it to Mary. He could have said, Mary, I'll give you the foundation. And people may argue that at the time women didn't have the same authority but God can do anything. He propped up women in the Bible. But he didn't tell Katie, that wouldn't even be a name in the Bible anyway. He didn't tell a woman, whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in, whatever you loose on earth be loose in heaven, whatever you bound in heaven be bound on earth, whatever you loose in heaven be loose on earth. Here's the rock in which I'll start my church. He didn't say that to a woman, he said it to a man. When God made Adam and Eve, who did he make first? Adam, man. He made man first. And then who did he make second? Eve. From what? Adam's rib. For what reason? Because man shall not live alone. And he made her as his helpmeet. He didn't make her to be boss babe. All right. Let's get to Katie. Come on, Katie. Come on in here. Put that burger down and come on in here. California governor candidate Katie Porter cuts off interview after testy Trump exchange. This tells you that she's not ready because she's too emotional. This fool goes on this podcast, gets an interview, and she quits the show. And I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But this is why I love Ground Out News, because you can get the full perspective of who's saying what about what. Go to the left. Let's see what the left is saying. Katie Porter tries to cut off interview. Porter, famous grilling opponents, is critical for demanding reporter or criticized for demanding a reporter be more pleasant. Is that what she said? To be more pleasant. To be more CNN. To be more pleasant. Huh? It say CNN right here. Come on, Nick. I got this, dude. I do this for a living. We can go down. You see what them fools saying. Let's go over to the right. What they saying. Katy Perry faces backlash after saying she might walk off the CBN interview. That was pretty light. Gubernatorial candidate has complete meltdown. Yeah, that's about right. Porter threatened to walk off the interview after follow-up questions. That's about right. And make sure when you go on to Ground.News, when you look at these stories like this, make sure you don't forget the blind side. And the reason I like this, and y'all got to get the Vantage plan. If you're going to get on here, you need all the tools and stuff that you see me seeing on here. You got everything. If you want to hear about Trump, click on that. Republicans, click on that. Katie, if somehow you like Katie, you want to follow her demise, you can click on her stuff and it's articles about her. But don't forget the blind spot real quick. I got to say this. Don't forget the blind spot, because we be falling off a cliff because the left is talking about this and we're not talking about it at all. Not one article about this particular topic. Then you go over here, Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, a leftist ain't talking about it at all. They're getting blind spotted. Be informed as a person consuming media. Vantage plan, how much we can get them off, Nick? 40%? If you want to get the plan, get 40% off the Vantage plan, all you got to do is click the link in the description section, or you can go to ground.news/Tatum. Ground.news/Tatum. All right? All right, let's get to this fool walking off this set. You ain't meant to be a governor if you can't take the same questions that other governor or gubernatorial candidates had to take. Fix the screen for me, Nick, so I can see it. Look at this fool. And she want to run California? Is that right, Nick? California, the biggest economy in America, one of the biggest economies in the world, fourth largest in the world, fourth in the world. How arrogant and narcissistic do you have to be, and you can't handle an interview, and you're going to handle wildfires, earthquakes, homelessness, the economy, illegal aliens, farming, tech, Silicon Valley, and you can't finish an interview? Roll it.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. Hold on. That's what you're saying.
I'm not really, hold on, stop. I'm not really trying to make fun of her looks, but dang. I ain't seen that side profile. She looked like that. She looked like, what's his name? Y'all know who it is in the comment section. What does she look like from the side? What's that cartoon? Where he's like, he kissed that cute girl. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look on the side. Let me look at the comment section. He kissed that girl, and I think he got beautiful or something. Remember? Shrek. No, is it Shrek? Is it Shrek? Is it Shrek? He was all mopey and he was in a dungeon or something like that. And then he was all pouty, and then he was real ugly and he kissed that girl. Somebody say Miss Doubtfire. God dang. I think it was Shrek. Yeah, but he kissed the woman. Princess Fiona. Beauty and the Beast. Did Shrek kiss that woman? Yeah, he kissed the dude. Of course he kissed the woman, nigga. I thought I said kissed him. I think I said she kissed him. Come on, man. Somebody pull up that Shrek thing for me. I got to see if I'm talking about Shrek real quick. Y'all hold the phone. We'll cut this out in post-production. Let me see if it's Shrek. Is it Shrek? He was ugly and he was weird. Was it Shrek? No, Shrek. Not her, but she looked like Shrek. No, it's Fiona, ogre, Princess Fiona. Was it? Nah, bro, it's something else, man. It's some other person, y'all. How y'all not going? Oh, Quasimodo. Is it Quasimodo? Look up Quasimodo. Come on, Nick. Know your cartoons, bro. No, that's not Quasimodo. That's Quasimodo?
Yeah.
Come on, Nick, put him on the screen. Put that on everything. She don't look like Quasimodo from the side. I know y'all gonna be mad at me over this, but I have to. Hey, hold on. Go back, Nick. I'm gonna let you put the clip up. See who got Quasimodo. I'm gonna give away something to somebody that Quasimodo. Let's pick somebody in the comment section and see if they said Quasimodo, and I'm gonna give away something, maybe a free shirt. Y'all talking about Shrek, y'all was wrong. It's Quasimodo, bro. I felt bad for him, really, because I seen one like a real Quasimodo looking person. Not the cartoon, it was like the real Quasimodo. All right, Nick gonna put it on the screen for y'all to see and tell me she don't look like Quasimodo. I wish you had a side angle, bro. Now, Nick, come on, hold on. Give me Quasimodo, the real person, not the cartoon character. Let's see if it's a Quasimodo real person. Because he was drooling or something on that thing I saw, and I'm like, that looked just like her from the side. There you go. Give me that side angle. Give me that side profile. Give me that side profile. Quasimodo for governor. That's what I'm going to start calling. Quasimodo for governor. I'm going to play the clip back. Y'all don't get mad at me. This is only for the live stream audience. Like when we go to do the regular video, we're going to cut all this out. Quasimodo. Bruh, the hair and everything the same. Put it back on the screen, Nick. Her hair even weird like that. Now we're gonna play it back. Just start it over. We already identified Quasimodo for governor. Roll the clip back so people can see from start to finish. Roll it.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60%
That's what she looked like him
the
right
vote.
there.
You think you'll get 60%. Everybody
Face
who did not
flat
vote
right
for
there.
Trump will vote for you. That's what you're
In
saying.
a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
But you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel
you
like
need
this
them
is
to win.
unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
Bruh, how you gonna be a governor and you're a leader and she act like she's talking at a preschool. I don't want to be emotionally targeted right now. I want it peaceful. You want it peaceful. You're gonna get the most scrutiny you ever gotten in your life if you're gonna be the governor of California. You're gonna have to debate. And in the debate, they're gonna ask you follow-up questions. What is happening here? But she's worse. She get worse. We got a whole bunch of clips. Come on. Let's go to the Piers Morgan clip. No, let's go to her crashing out about Trump. His election win. Let's see what Quasimodo for governor got to say about this. That's the most insane interview I've ever heard. Look, oh my gosh, she looked crazier on TV. Is she? I was gonna say is she trans, but I'm not gonna even say that. That's an affront to trans people. Roll the clip.
So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's gonna win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people and how important it is for Democrats to have strategies, both at the state level and the federal level, to make sure that we can continue to protect people's rights.
Hold on, shawty. You think we believe that sugar honey iced tea? Your 12-year-old talking about raping abortions. That something ain't right. At 12? What are you exposing your daughter to that she put a rape and abortion together at 12? They're not talking about that in school. Well, maybe at their school. Your 12-year-old said that to you? Really? Your 12-year-old. That's a whole, her fear when Trump gets elected is that she got to have an abortion. Your 12-year-old is thinking about abortions if Trump get elected. That means you a terrible parent. That means you overexposing her to Trump derangement syndrome. Ain't no 12-year-old thinking about that. That's their biggest issue. Your 12-year-old's biggest issue is Planned Parenthood. Shut the front door, man. Finish the clip, Nick. Oh, I got another one. No. We're going to do another clip. I got another lookalike. Dang it, I can't think of the name of that movie. It was a movie where a woman looked like her, butchy, crazy woman. It was like in Europe somewhere. And she made that kid eat that cake and he smashed the cake all over his mouth. Matilda. There you go. Matilda. Pull it up. Matilda. Y'all never even got Matilda. How y'all miss Matilda? Let's see what she looked like, Matilda. There you go. She kind of looked like her, but she got her hair pulled back. There you go, right there. That one, right, Nick? That one. Yeah, get Matilda on there. She kind of looked like Matilda, the lady at Matilda. That was my favorite movie, I ain't gonna lie. Trunchbull. Trunchbull. What is it? What's her name? Principal Trunchbull. I had a couple nightmares over this one when I was little. She was super creepy. With her teeth and them, that brownies, that brownie. We got to play that brownie clip. Where that brownie was out, like I still to this day, I was a little kid. We'll do a post-production. I was a little kid when that brownie scene came out, and I thought about that for 20 years. Come on, put Matilda on there. Let's see if she, yep, that's her. If she pulled her hair back, that she'll look just like this lady. They want Miss Trustberg. What is her name? Trustberger? Trustbull. They want Miss Trustbull to be governor. Come on. Come on, play the next clip before I get in trouble with the Lord. Come on.
A bad judgment. Right, but the real scandal is not that he wants to do it, isn't it?
Kind of old.
What?
Right now. I mean, let's be
sorry?
Yeah. Kids are immature. That's why they're kids.
Not at 21.
Not all over the world.
21-year-olds are immature. That's why we don't let them drink until they're 21. That's why some of us don't think that 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds ought to be able to go get AR-15s.
They can go fight.
I think there are
They
arguments.
can be in the Army.
Well, I think that's a discussion we should have, because I think
They
the
can
more
vote.
we know about
I thought if you vote, you should be able to have a certain level of maturity. They're deciding whether you should be in Congress or not.
Well, and by the way, I win those votes.
What?
And I win those votes, and I'm proud of it. But what I'm
So
saying
you just
is
said you win the votes of the immature.
Well, but the immature, first off, immaturity is not necessarily an age thing. You can be immature well.
But you just
into
played
your
the age
adulthood.
card. Yeah. You were like, our argument sucks because we're old, which is
No,
so.
I didn't say that. I
that's
said
getting
you
so
sounded-
boring.
And by the way, I'm only 58, just for the record.
Shouldn't we critique each other on the content of our ideas, not on those identity politics? Things like,
she is just not good at interviews, man. God dang. You know what happens is when you're so woke and stupid and your brain don't cycle through right, she put her foot in her mouth and she can never get out of it. She went on there and was talking to that other lady. And she was like, well, what did she say? She said something the lady followed up with. She go, oh, I don't need Trump supporters. I don't need them to win. She put her foot in her mouth. And the investigative reporter was like, lady, are you really saying you don't need Trump supporters? And then she want to quit the interview. You know what I'm saying? Then she get on there and talk about age like it's cute with a pantsuit on. And then real men tell her, that's not a good argument. She said, 18-year-olds are immature. They don't know what's going on. That's why they can't have AR-15s. Yeah, you actually can have an AR-15 at 18. You can't have a handgun at 18. You got to be 21, dummy. But anyway, they can go to war. They can do all this stuff. Now she put her foot in her mouth because now she's saying that kids are too ignorant to make positive decisions, and they voted for her. She got a foot in the mouth on this other one, too. That's a big old foot. All right, come on, give me the next one.
President Biden has said that inflation is the #1 priority for the Biden White House to try to get under control right now. As you're out there in California talking to constituents during this re-election year for Congress, how does inflation compare to this newly important, in the sense of the Supreme Court decision pending, abortion issue? How do those two issues compare?
Well, I don't think they compare. I think they actually reinforce each other. So the fact that things like inflation can happen and it can become more expensive to feed your kids and to fuel your car is exactly why people need to be able to be in charge of how many mouths they're going to have to feed. So I think the fact that we're seeing this jump in expenses, that we're seeing people having to pay more in the grocery store, pay more at the pump, pay more for housing, is a reason that people are saying, I need to be able to make my own decisions about when and if to start a family. So I don't think we're going to see them. I don't think it's like about comparing them or contrasting them. I think they reinforce for people just how big of a responsibility it is to take care of a family.
Let me tell you what she said right there. Why she go to food, though? Her first thing was how many kids you have to feed. Not take how many you got to feed. Why? You want to be able to limit how much food you have to share? Is that what you saying, Katie? All right. Is that the last clip? Yeah. All right. That's good because I'm losing brain cells every minute that I hear her talk. How is she, like, do y'all understand how silly you got to be and self-awareness is on zero? When you think you're going to run for governor and you're not even good at doing debates and conversations. And then you're not the looker. I know it's not everything, looks is not everything, but looks are important to professionalism. If you look sloppy and weird like this lady, and you come across as a trifecta, you fat, you mean, and you stupid, then nobody can vote for you. They don't want to vote for you. They don't take you seriously. Like you don't take you seriously. So how they gonna take you seriously? You don't take your health seriously. You don't take your makeup seriously because somebody, I think Helen Keller did her makeup. And Stevie Wonder did her hair. So I don't know what she thinking. And then you ain't got nobody styling you, lady. You wearing pantsuits that look like you got a beer keg around your stomach. Come on, lady. Can y'all put her in something more flattering? Eyeliner off. Need a little Botox on the forehead. That's bunching up right here. Ma'am, You can at least try. You can at least try. That's all I'm saying. They got Ozempic and everything now. You can do a little, lose some weight. I did a little the other day. Lost a little weight. I said, oh, come on in. Come on with it. And peptides ain't playing. Get you some peptides before you go on the campaign trail. Get you in a calorie deficit. That's all you got to do. And you think the reason that Gavin Newsom is that because he dressed up, skinny, stupid, and narcissistic, but at least he got his hair whipped with the gel, and people think I don't know who think he look. His wife, well, let me not say nothing. I don't know his wife. She probably a good woman, but I do know that he cheated on his other wife with his campaign manager's wife. How you gonna mess with your friend's wife like that on the campaign trail, and they still elected him to be the president? I mean, the governor, and he's running for president. Let me just say this, bro. If somehow, which will never happen, I mess around on my wife, don't y'all vote for me. You can't be a man that's trusted if you cheating on your wife. Because if you could cheat on a woman that you claim you love, that you live with every day, you got kids with, and break up a happy home, you gonna mess your country up. You dang sure gonna mess the state up. You can lie to that woman in her face every day and lie to your kids and live a double life, and somehow you're gonna do the right thing as the governor. That don't make no sense. Don't vote for me. Don't vote for me. If I'm cutting up, don't you vote for me. I know y'all love me. I can't get your vote. If I'm out here cutting up, you got to have people with integrity that are in positions of power. And if you don't, look, see, people say I look thinner. Yeah, man, I took that little, I forget the name of it. My wife gave it to me. So I look good on her. Too bad you can't get one for the haircut. I wish my hair stayed like this. Anyway. Here you go. I got a note. How about she tell her 12-year-old the truth? Even Republicans have exceptions for rape in most states, a full ban only in 9 states, and Trump made it a state-level thing. And let's see. And sweetheart, we live in California, so we good. Come on. Who gave this to me? That's right on money. Now I can't read, but y'all get the gist of it. Why can I get back to that, Nick? And you can put this in there in the middle somewhere. Where what I say, you can put it in there when we talk about her daughter and this abortion thing. Do you know how silly you got to be for your daughter to say, "I'm afraid of abortions, and because I'm 12, if I get raped"? I don't. First of all, California. They live in California. They wide open in California. You can do whatever you want to do. I've heard phone calls to Planned Parenthood of kids that her kid age that they'll do it for you with your parents not knowing. So she don't have to worry about that in California whatsoever. Almost every state in the union have exceptions for a medical complication or a person who has been taken advantage of without their consent. What is she talking? Why would you lie to your daughter and let your daughter believe a lie? And in good faith, the little girl maybe listen to her ignorant mama, and she is scared. But what parent wouldn't tell their kid the truth? You let for political reasons, you let your daughter fall off a cliff and is terrified of something that ain't even real. Y'all don't even travel to a state where your daughter got to worry about that. But you let her believe it. And y'all think she should be the governor. She can't even govern her own house. She can't even tell her daughter the truth. Man, if my 12-year-old came to me and said, "Daddy," and I don't got no girls, thank God. And none against girls. I just ain't a girl dad. All right. But if I had a girl come to me, and why? Because I'd probably be, my daughter be running all over me. I'm mean to my son sometimes. I'm like, hey, stop all that. Get over here. I had to get on boat earlier. Get out of here. If you're going to be whining, you can't be in the room with us. You go sit over there until you done whining. When you done whining, you come back in here. I ain't trying to hear no whining this morning. My daughter be whining. I'm, "Oh, sweetie, the world is yours." But I would never tell my 12-year-old something stupid like that. "Oh, yeah, sweetie. Yeah, you should. Trump is definitely a bad person." My son come to me and ask me stuff all the time, and I'm like, boom, 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 here are the facts. I ain't gonna make you believe in nothing. You know what I'm saying? But here are the facts. Only thing you're gonna have to do if you live in my house, you're gonna have to respect me, your mama. You living in my house, you got to love the Lord. I don't care if you like the Lord, you're gonna love the Lord, and you're gonna go to church and you're gonna do all the Christian stuff. And when you go and you want to be a devil, when you leave my house, then go be a devil. But when you're in my house, this is a dictatorship. This is Ping Tatum. You ain't got no privacy. I'm on that phone every day. What you messing? What you messing to people? He say that one more time to you on this phone, I'm gonna block him and you ain't gonna be his friend no more. It ain't no privacy in my house. Let me look at that computer. Let me look at that history. Let me go down and look at that history on that computer. What you doing? I see all your grades right here. Why you get a mark on your thing right here? Because you were talking in class. Don't make me. I'm surveilling in my house, and I'm forcing you to believe in the Lord. And if you want to change when you get older, do your thing. But you ain't finna be in my house not believing in God. You ain't gonna be eating out of the food that God have provided for us, and you don't believe in God. You can't live. You can't move, so you stuck. Yeah, I don't care what you do. You finna believe in the Lord if you living with me. Anyway, let me get off here. I gotta go. Nick and them looking at me like I'm crazy. Let me get up out of here. Love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank y'all. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the